Are you over 70? Then this video might just save your life. We're taught that regular health checkups are the key to a long, healthy life. But what if I told you that for people over 70, some of these routine tests are not only unnecessary, but can be downright dangerous? We're talking about serious side effects, misdiagnoses, and treatments that cause more harm than good. Shockingly, a huge number of seniors have no idea they're being overtested. In one of these checkups, the number one on our list is linked to a significant percentage of cancer cases in the US. You won't hear this from your local clinic, you won't see it on a billboard, but the truth is buried in scientific studies, and today, we're digging it up. In this video, we're revealing the 5 health checkups you should seriously question after you turn 70, and the surprising facts about what they can do to your body. Everything we discuss is backed by real science, and you won't believe what made it to number 2 on our list. So, let's get right into it. First up, we need to talk about routine mammograms. For women over 75, the evidence for a benefit is surprisingly weak. The American Cancer Society doesn't even have a recommendation for this age group. Why? Because the risks of overdiagnosis become a major concern. Overdiagnosis means finding cancers that are so slow-growing they would never have caused a problem in your lifetime. But finding them leads to a cascade of anxiety, biopsies, and treatments like surgery, radiation, or hormone therapy, all of which carry significant side effects, especially for an older body. The stress and physical toll of unnecessary treatment can dramatically reduce your quality of life. For a cancer that was never a real threat, it's crucial to have a conversation with your doctor about your personal health and whether the small potential benefit outweighs these very real risks. Next, let's tackle something that affects millions of men: routine PSA screening for prostate cancer. For men over 70, major medical organizations like the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommend against it. The PSA test is known for having a high rate of false positives. This means the test suggests you might have cancer when you actually don't. This can lead to a lot of worry and a need for more invasive tests. It's like a prostate biopsy, which has risks of its own, including infection and bleeding. It's just like with mammograms, the big danger is overdiagnosis of slow-growing prostate cancers. Treating these can lead to serious, life-altering side effects, like incontinence and erectile dysfunction, without actually extending your life. It's a classic case of the cure being worse than the disease. Always discuss the pros and cons with a trusted healthcare provider. Stay with us, because what's coming up next is something most people think is completely harmless. Have you ever regretted a test or a medical procedure? Maybe you feel like seniors are being tested way too much. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below because we're rereading and replying to every single one with personalized tips and advice. And hey, if you find this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. Alright, let's dive right in and talk about the first test on our list. It seems harmless, but it could quietly sabotage your quality of life. Let's talk about checkup number 5, the bone density scan. It sounds simple enough, right? Quick scan, no pain, no needles, and you get peace of mind knowing if your bones are at risk for fractures. But here's the hidden truth that often goes unsaid. For anyone over the age of 70, a bone density scan can sometimes create more anxiety than actual benefit. This scan, officially called a DEXA scan, measures your bone strength and is mainly used to spot osteoporosis. But here's the catch. In older adults, especially women, the results almost always show lower bone density, even when there's no immediate danger. Why? Because losing bone mass is a completely natural part of aging, just like getting wrinkles or gray hair. It happens to pretty much everyone. Despite this, many seniors are quickly prescribed medications like bisphosphonates. These drugs are meant to strengthen bones, but they can come with some really serious side effects. We're talking about things like jawbone necrosis, rare but scary condition, where the jawbone tissue can actually de-an painful esophageal irritation. Now, here's the real kicker. Major studies have shown that treating mild bone loss in people over 70 with these medications has very little impact on preventing actual fractures. For instance, a study in the Journal of the American Geriatrics Society followed over 1,200 women over 70 It found that after 5 years, bisphosphonates only reduced the fracture risk by a tiny 0.3%. That's a minuscule benefit when you weigh it against the potential side effects. Those women were far more likely to suffer from the medication's downsides. So, instead of jumping to medication, what's a better approach? It's all about focusing on what really works. Lifestyle changes. Regular weight-bearing exercises like walking, tai chi, or light strength training can do wonders for bone health without any nasty side effects. Also, making sure you get enough calcium and vitamin D through your diet is crucial. Think leafy greens, dairy, and a little bit of sunshine. These simple natural steps can be far more effective and safer for maintaining strong bones as you age. It's about proactive wellness, not reactive medication. Next up, we have checkup number 4. This one is incredibly common, but the latest research suggests it might be completely unnecessary for most seniors. Stay with us, because you'll want to hear this. Let's talk about routine PSA screening. For decades, men over 50 have been told that getting a regular PSA test for prostate cancer is a must-do. The test measures a protein in your blood, and high levels could indicate cancer. But the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force, a leading panel of experts, has actually changed its tune. They now recommend against routine PSA screening for men over 70. Why the change of heart? It turns out the test has a high rate of false positives. This means it can signal cancer when there isn't any, leading to a whole cascade of stressful, invasive, and often unnecessary follow-up procedures, like biopsies. A prostate biopsy isn't a walk in the park. It can cause pain, bleeding, and infection. Even when the test does find cancer, it's often a slow-growing type that would likely never cause any harm during a person's lifetime. This leads to overtreatment, getting radiation or surgery for a cancer that wasn't a threat. These treatments themselves carry significant risks, including incontinence and erectile dysfunction, which can severely impact a person's quality of life. So, the key takeaway here is to have a conversation with your doctor. Instead of automatic screening, it's about shared decision-making. Discuss your personal risk factors, your overall health, and what you would want to do if cancer were detected. For many men over 70, the potential harms of screening simply outweigh the benefits. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to your health. Did you know that some medications for bone density can cause digestive issues, inflammation in the esophagus, and even lead to brittle bones that break in odd ways? It sounds counterintuitive, right? Let me tell you about Rose, a wonderful 76-year-old retired piano teacher. She was referred for a DEXA scan after her annual checkup. Now, Rose was active. She'd never had a fall, experienced no pain, and walked every single day. Her scan results showed osteopenia, which is a mild reduction in bone density, but it's not full-blown osteoporosis. Despite this, her doctor immediately put her on a common bisphosphonate medication. Just 3 months later, Rose started experiencing severe acid reflux and debilitating jaw pain. It got so bad that she couldn't play the piano, the passion of her life, for weeks. When she came to see us, we knew we had to try a different approach. Immediately took her off the medication. Instead, we started her on a new regimen focused on supporting her body naturally. First, we addressed her nutrient levels, specifically starting her on a vitamin D supplement. Vitamin D is crucial for calcium absorption and bone health, and many people, especially as they age, are deficient. Next, we introduced weight-bearing exercises. Now, this doesn't mean she had to start lifting heavy weights at the gym. We started with simple, effective resistance bands. These exercises put gentle stress on the bones, which signals the body to build them back stronger. We also created a personalized nutrition plan for her. The plan was rich in bone-building nutrients. We focused on whole foods packed with calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K2. Think leafy greens like kale and spinach, dairy or fortified plant milks, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish. We wanted her to get these nutrients from her diet, not just from pills. We also worked on improving her digestion to ensure she was actually absorbing all these wonderful nutrients. We added probiotics and digestive enzymes to help soothe the reflux the medication had caused. The transformation was amazing. Within a few months, Rose's reflux was gone, and her jaw pain subsided. The best part? She was back at her piano, playing with joy and without pain. Her follow-up DEX, a scan a year later, showed that her bone density had not only stabilized, but it actually improved slightly. all without the harsh side effects of the initial medication. Rose's story is a powerful reminder that there isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for bone health. While medications can be necessary for severe osteoporosis, for cases like osteopenia, a holistic approach combining nutrition, targeted supplements, and the right kind of exercise can make a world of difference. It's about building a stronger body from the inside out. We empowered Rose to take control of her health, and she did it beautifully. Her story shows that it's never too late to improve your bone health and get back to doing what you love. If you or someone you know is concerned about bone density, don't be afraid to ask questions and explore all your options. A comprehensive approach that supports your whole body can lead to incredible results. Ever feel like your doctor orders a test for every little thing? You're not wrong. Americans get way more medical tests than people in other developed countries. But are all these checkups actually helping us? Let's talk about 5 common checkups that might be doing more harm than good. First up, the annual physical. We've been told to get a yearly checkup. But here's the secret. If you're healthy and under 65, you probably don't need one every single year. A huge review of 14 major studies found that these annual exams do actually reduce your risk of death from major diseases like cancer or heart disease. Why? Because these visits often lead to a cascade of unnecessary tests. A slightly off blood sugar reading might lead to more tests, more anxiety, and even medications you don't need. Instead of a routine checkup, focus on targeted screenings based on your age and risk factors. Think pap smears, colonoscopies, and mammograms at the right time. Talk to your doctor about what's truly necessary for you. Next, let's discuss checkup number 2, the EKG for a healthy heart. An electrocardiogram, or EKG, is a fantastic tool for diagnosing heart problems when you have symptoms like chest pain or palpitations. But for healthy people with no symptoms, it's often overkill. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends against routine EKGs for low-risk adults. An abnormal EKG in a healthy person is often a false alarm, leading to a whirlwind of stressful and expensive follow-up tests like stress tests or even invasive angiograms, all for a problem that never existed. Your heart is likely just fine. If you're not having symptoms, this test can create a problem out of thin air. Now for number 3, the bone density scan, also known as a DEXA scan. If you're over 65, especially a woman, you've probably heard about this one. It screens for osteoporosis. Sounds smart, right? But here's the catch. These scans often lead to a diagnosis of osteopenia, which is just mildly low bone density, not the full-blown disease. This label can be terrifying, pushing people towards medications with serious side effects, like jawbone decay. The thing is, these drugs are best for people with actual osteoporosis, not just a slightly lower score. Consider a 72-year-old dancer who was told she had osteopenia. Instead of starting medication, she focused on a calcium-rich diet with foods like sardines and leafy greens. A year later, she was back to performing with stronger legs, better balance, and 0 fractures. A scan might seem like a smart move, but for people over 70 who aren't falling or breaking bones, a better option is lifestyle. Strength training, balance exercises, proper nutrition, treating vitamin D deficiency have been shown to reduce fractures by over 20%. Don't let a number on a screen scare you into treatment you may not need. But there's one scan that can lead to something even scarier: brain surgery. Let's talk about that next. Number 4, the brain MRI for memory loss. When seniors feel more forgetful or confused, the natural impulse is fear. Fear of dementia, fear of Alzheimer's. So, doctors often respond by ordering a brain MRI. The problem is, these scans rarely provide a clear answer for memory loss. What they do find are incidentalomas, tiny, harmless abnormalities that have nothing to do with memory. Finding one can trigger a spiral of anxiety and more invasive tests, sometimes even unnecessary brain surgery for something that was never going to cause a problem. Unless there are specific, concerning neurological symptoms like a sudden change in speech or vision, a brain MRI for general forgetfulness is usually not the answer. Finally, checkup number 5, the PSA test for prostate cancer. For years, the prostate-specific antigen blood test was the go-to for men over 50, but we've learned a lot since then. The test is notoriously unreliable. High PSA levels can be caused by many things besides cancer, like an infection, or even just a long bike ride. This leads to countless false alarms. More importantly, it often detects slow-growing prostate cancers that would never have caused any harm in a man's lifetime. But a cancer diagnosis is scary, and it pushes men towards treatments like surgery or radiation, which can have life-altering side effects like incontinence and erectile dysfunction. Today, major medical groups no longer recommend routine PSA screening for all men. The decision should be a personal one, made after a long conversation with your doctor about the very real risks and the uncertain benefits. So, what's the takeaway? Don't be afraid to question a test. Ask your doctor, what will we do differently based on these results? If the answer isn't clear, you might be better off saying no thanks. Being an active, informed participant in your healthcare is the best checkup of all. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights on how to stay truly healthy.